For the first question, when we have heard about underuse and overuse influence, refer to significant deviations from L1 control frequently, when learners prefer interlanguage distributions instead of L1 distributions. Underuse and overuse don't allow the achievement of target language competencies properly. On the one hand, the overuse tends to be more marked in speeches than in writings, while the underuse tends to be slightly stronger in speeches than in writings. This influence could be evident when learners try to translate a text. They usually take the found translation literally, but the meaning of the text can change because of the differences on the context. Basically, it happens with expressions or idioms like over the moon in English, which means to be happy for something. But if it is translated literally, this means sobre la luna in Spanish, which doesn't mean the same. Moreover, it is common to familiarize L2 words with L1 words when both are written similarly, like the word actually in English with actualmente in Spanish, or embarrassed with embarazada, which also don't mean the same. It occurs because we have the necessity of relating what we already know, which would be our first language, with what we are learning, which would be the second language.
Okay, about a cross-linguistic influence, CLI is defined as the influence that knowledge of one language has on an individual's learning or use of another language. In other words, it refers to the different ways in which one language can affect another within an individual speaker. This influence can involve various aspects of language. For example, for a native speaker of Spanish who is learning English, CLI may lead to Spanish sounding pronunciation when speaking English. Example, pronouncing Z like su. Spanish word or sentence ordered when writing in English. Example, writing the bike orange is mine instead of the orange bike is mine, or comprehension of Spanish words that look or sound similar to English words. Example, honor, honor. CLI is related to transfer of learning. Transfer of learning involves the application of knowledge in novel situations. A cross-linguistic influence can be seen as one specific type of transfer of learning, restricted to language-related knowledge applied. Another example of CLI is the influence of Korean on a Korean native speaker who is learning Japanese or French. Less typically, it could also refer to an interaction between different dialects in the mind of monolingual speaker. CLI can be observed across subsystems of languages, including pragmatics, semantics, syntax, morphology, phonology, phonetics, and orthography. That's it.
Concerning the third question about interaction and negotiation for meaning, I will explain first what the interaction hypothesis states. This hypothesis says that face-to-face interaction is really important or is a key to language learning. And this hypothesis is often associated with Long's article in 1999, in which he is aligned with the approach to communicative language learning and the focus on meaning before form, which is of course true because we cannot learn a language just knowing its form or without practicing it. And regarding to the negotiation for meaning, which is also a hypothesis, This is Krashen's input hypothesis, also known as I plus 1. And this hypothesis states that input should be just a level more advanced than the learners. And this is to make the input more manageable for the learner. And that happened to me when I first went to the university to study English because I didn't know anything about it. I just knew of some rules that I learned from the school, but I didn't know how to use it at all. So there were many of my classmates that had a higher level at speaking English. So I felt sad because I couldn't do what they did, and so I concluded that the input didn't help me at the very beginning to improve my skills. But once I achieved some semesters, some higher semester, I couldn't do what my classmates used to do. So, in conclusion, the input will affect uh, positively or negatively if it is higher or if it is lower. So I am in agreement with this hypothesis that says that the input should be just one level higher than the learners.
Okay, so in the fourth point, I think that feedback is a critical element to effective language learning. In fact, to any learning. Without feedback, we just could not learn. We would not just know the results of our actions and hence would not know if any adjustment is needed. Feedback is what tells us whether we are on the path leading to our intended destination or have deviated. It is what tells us whether we have achieved our mark or not. It is important to recognize feedback in all areas of learning languages, from the sounds we make to the sentences we form, to the meaning we intend to utter, and to the writings that we do, and so on. It is too easy to overlook the importance of feedback and concentrate on learning more and more. For example, it may happen that a language learner accumulates enormous amount of knowledge about language and a variety of language skills, but he doesn't seem to be able to put it all together. This might happen because he has not been using the feedback he gets to effectively and appropriately modify what he does, say, or learn.